Hi, this is Trey Passer. Welcome to my review of Supergirl, the movie that, I guess be the second, technically the second movie from the DC Studios production. Of course, starring Millie Alcock as Kara Zor-el, aka Supergirl. We saw her briefly in Superman with David Cornsweet, and David Cornsweet is in this movie as well. He has, like you say, you've seen the trailers and stuff. He's in this movie kind of briefly and stuff. But it's basically her, Kara Zor-el, based on the comic book Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. And I kicked myself for not getting the comic book before because I meant to get the comic book before I saw this movie and stuff, and I still may get the comic book anyway. But anyway, it's about her. Basically, the basis is supposed to be a space story because Kara Zor-el, she goes off, because of the way she grew up. And most people know the story about her, uh, her father and them living on a piece of Krypton that survived and stuff, and then she basically lost everybody she loves and stuff, and she comes to Earth later, of course, and Kyle, I think, because in the original story, she was supposed to go. I think she was supposed to go with Kyle, follow him, but I think her spaceship had hung up, and so he, arrived to Earth first, and of course, he grew up. So technically, even though she's younger, she's technically older than him. Okay, that's the story about that. But anyway, this story is about her, her going off Earth. She's basically a drunk, and she goes off world to get drunk because she can't get drunk off because of her Kryptonian facility on Earth. So she has to go to places has like a red sun, so she can actually physically get drunk. Okay, and the only companion that she has is, of course, is Crypto that she brought with her from Krypton and stuff. And she runs into this young girl who has her parents slaughtered by the villain in the movie, and they're on a quest to find the guy, and she wants to get her revenge, and she kind of reluctantly drags Kara along with her. Um, this movie, like I said, I was looking forward to. I know a lot of people. I saw a lot of videos of people saying, "Oh, this movie is not going to do as good as it's supposed to be. It sucks," and just a lot of like negative commentary on this movie before it even came out. Okay, I don't know. It seemed like people were just bound and determined to hate this movie. Okay, but I said I'm going to see it anyway because like I said, I like James Gunn and I like Millie Alcock. I think she's a really good actress, and I wanted to see. I'm a big fan of DC Studios of what James Gunn has been doing, so I said let me go see it. So I went to see it today, and while the movie, to me, it wasn't as good as it could be, and I think mostly it's because of the villain in this movie. Now that's why I say I wish I would have read the comic book first, so because I know in the comic books, they have time to flesh out, characters and stuff, and maybe even though this movie is about a little less than 2 hours, I think they still could have fleshed out the villain more in this movie. To me, one of the major failings of this movie is the villain isn't as compelling. A good movie, a good hero story, I think is only as good as a good villain, so he can have somebody to play off against. And in this story, the villain in this uh, movie is just not that memorable. I don't think he has that many even lines in this movie. I know he's supposed to be, and the way they start the movie off, it's like, here's the villain, okay? He's evil. La, 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 bam. Like, no gradual build up to who this guy is and what his motivations are and stuff. And it just, just starts right off with a bang. And it just, again, and like I said, I feel bad for the actor who's playing the villain because he's basically, his character is, to me, even he gets no real, you don't even know what he thinks and what he really feels. You just, they just assume that, yeah, okay, he's a bad guy. Okay, he did this and this, so he's the bad guy. But you have no, they try to explain, but they don't explain it good enough what his motivations are. And to me, it makes a weak villain. Okay, against Kara, Kara has all the stuff that she's going through, with her, because they showed in flashbacks her with her parents and stuff, and her growing up and stuff, and then her leaving and all that stuff, so you get a little bit of her backstory and stuff in this, so you can sort of sympathize with her. But again, this villain to me is just the weakest part of this movie. It just really, like it's good violence and stuff. I mean, good, actions in this movie. Good, her using her powers and all that stuff. But I just hated because the villain to me was was the weakest part of this movie. And as far as Jason Momoa as Lobo, to me, it's totally wasted to me. Uh, I mean, because it's Jason Momoa, and it's just again, we know that he's a bounty hunter and all this stuff, and this is like from the previous incarnations of Lobo that we've seen. So we know he's a bounty hunter and stuff, and he does all the stuff, but he doesn't really, you know, his character could have been played by anybody else. To be perfectly honest, there's nothing that really, he's smoking a cigar, of course, and maybe a lot of people say he could have been just without even all the makeup on him. He could have just been Jason Momoa doing what he was doing in this movie. It's just really, uh, really, his character came off really flat to me. Okay, and you say, okay, there's Jason Momoa. He's Lobo, and yada yada yada. Just just really, again, underwritten. To me, the Lobo character was underwritten. His character, the main villain, was underwritten. I like the young actress who was on a quest for revenge, who kept annoying Kara and all that stuff. I thought actually that young actress was actually pretty good, but I just the villain didn't make the story, and that's why I was watching the movie and I was waiting for the villain to have a good moment, a good speech or something, or something that, or like you hear him saying what his motivations are, but you don't get that in this movie, and that to me makes a weak sauce movie. Okay, it makes it weak. Okay, and I know this is supposed to be Supergirl, and you're supposed to her basically about her character arc, her growth into understanding what a hero is, but I don't get that in this movie. With a weak villain, it kind of ruins the movie for me, and it really disappointed me. And I guess all the movies can't be hits, or can't be, but I really am disappointed in that they, and I'm really, worried about now that because we know Anna Nagara, who wrote this movie, she's supposed to be writing a Wonder Woman movie, which makes me scared that if she wrote this movie, because I like a good villain to balance off the hero, okay, and she's writing the Wonder Woman movie, so I'm praying that somebody else hopefully maybe is helping her write it, because this movie is just not, the villain is just not compelling enough to me to be memorable. You like a good memorable villain so that the hero can have somebody to overcome, but the villain in this movie is just not compelling enough. And like I said, he doesn't even have that many lines in this movie. Okay, and it's just he's not compelling. Like I said, I like the scenes with her, Kara, and the young girl, with them hanging around and stuff and buddying up and stuff. And like I said, Lobo is just it's just basically Jason Momoa. Like I said, he didn't even have to have any makeup on. He's basically Jason Momoa. Okay, and I think you know what, I think he was better in that Fast and Furious movie where he was chewing the scenery in that Fast and Furious movie. That Jason Momoa was fantastic in that movie. The way he was acting in that movie was absolutely fantastic. Here, he just has the makeup on. He's doing what you expect him to do, chewing a cigar. He's riding a motorcycle. It's just it's nothing special about the Lobo character in this movie, which is really quite sad. Okay, because Jason Momoa was born to play Lobo. Okay, like way before he even got he got cast in the part. He was, because this is the way his character is in real life. But it's just not compelling enough in this movie, and unfortunately, uh, hopefully, like I said, in the next Superman movie, when Kara's in that one, hopefully they'll be better. I think because James Gunn will be writing it, and I think that's what this movie suffers from: weak writing. And I know a lot of people think James Gunn wrote this movie. James Gunn didn't write it; he just approved it. Uh, and I think James Gunn knows how to write a good villain, just like he wrote in the Superman movie. Lex Luthor, Nicholas Hoult was a great villain. Okay, he's absolutely great. Okay, that's how you write a villain. Okay, and I just think this movie suffers from having a weak villain in this movie. So, like I said, I saw it because I'm some big supporter of DC Studios, but it's not a really good movie. It's just an ordinary movie. Okay, and I was expecting more. Again, because I like Millie Alcock and she's a good actress, and it's not her fault that the movie is not that great. Okay, because she's good in the movie. It's just that the story is very weak, and the main villain is extremely weak. Okay, so I'm gonna give this movie, out of my 4-star system, one is, I think, fair. No, one is poor, 2 is fair, 3 is good, and 4 is excellent. I'm gonna give it 2 stars for fair. I'm gonna give it just 2 stars for fair. It's just fair because they got some good flying, her using her powers and flying. Those scenes are great. I like those scenes. The action scenes with her beating people up and stuff. Those scenes are good, and they got some good comedic moments in there every once in a while. And I like the chemistry between her and the young actress. But the villain of this movie, very weak. Jason Momoa's Lobo, just very ordinary. Okay, like I said, he didn't even have to have makeup on. He said that's Jason Momoa. Okay, just and then he's not that compelling. We know he's a bounty hunter. Yada yada yada. Nothing special in this movie, which is a shame. Okay, so again, I give it 2 stars for fair. Like I said, if you're a fan of DC Studios, maybe you go see it. And the best parts, I did like the parts with David Cornsweet in it, because he's in the movie. They sprinkle him in the movie, uh, in the beginning and around. They sprinkle him around the movie, and those parts are actually pretty decent. Okay, and David Cornsweet is Superman. I really just like seeing him more and more as Superman. He's really compelling, and I can't wait for the next Superman movie, Man of Tomorrow, for that to come out and see him interacting with Lex and all the other heroes and stuff. But this movie is just not that well written, weak villain, and just really quite ordinary. So I'm gonna give it 2 stars for fair. Okay, not excuse me, not good. I was hoping it was a good movie. Yeah, I don't think it's as bad as people make it. They say this movie is a total disaster. No, I don't think it's a total disaster, but it is a weak entry into these DC studios. I think this one is a miss for James Gunn's DC Studios, which I'm still a big fan of, and I am still waiting for Man of Tomorrow and whatever else James Gunn puts out. But this movie is just fair. It's just not. It's not compelling enough, and weak villain kind of ruins the movie for me. Anyway, so let me know what you think. If you've seen Supergirl, what do you think of it? Feel free to leave comments down below. In the description box, I have links to my Facebook, my Twitter, my Instagram. Also, I have a link to my other channel, Paul Views and Opinions. You can check that out as well. Also, I have a link down below to my merchandise store. I sell hats, t-shirts, mugs, sweatshirts, hoodies, water bottles, teddy bears for men, women, unisex. Follow the link; it'll take you to my merchandise store. I have the spherical circles that you've seen me wearing videos, and I also have the Trey Passer logo that I have that you see me wearing videos. Those are the 2 designs I have on my merchandise store. So follow the link, it'll take you to my merchandise store. Also, please give this video a thumbs up. It helps the channel, and I truly appreciate it. Also, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, so I know when I upload new content to this channel. And this is Trey Passer saying so long. Take care.